Many yoga classes start with a modified version of pigeon pose. Ekapada Rajakopatasana, it's called. But for some of us, that doesn't work because our knees are so sensitive. And when we weight bear on the knee, it obviously creates some stress. If you've had a sports injury or other injury, you really want to protect that knee. This is the pose that we often work with in the yoga practice to get just a little bit more flexibility in our hip flexors. In this practice, for those of us that have got knee injuries, we'll work on alternatives so that you can still get a nice stretch in the hip flexors. We'll begin seated. We'll do a variety of forms that will help you get more flexibility to the rotator muscles deep in your pelvic area. Place your right ankle to the outside of your knee and use your hands either on the mat, or if you've got blocks, you can use your blocks to get a little bit more elevation so that you can elongate your spine. If this doesn't work for you, see if you can just extend your foot out more. You'll still get a nice stretch to the hip area as you draw the outer thigh down. Keep a nice elongation in the spine. Maybe you can even come slightly forward and you'll get a nice stretch to the hamstring. So any variation you have, either the bent leg or the straight leg, see if you can just hold the pose while keeping the right leg extremely active. I like pushing the heel right into my hand so that I can feel nice engagement there. With the right foot down, take your left ankle just to the outer knee. You might want to engage more fully with the spread of the toes or pressing the heel right into your hand. See if you can get length in the spine from the pelvis to the crown of the head, this nice length. And again, if that's not working for you, start to straighten your leg. If you can handle a little bit more, have your right foot a little bit closer. Keep on sneaking the right foot a little bit closer to your pelvis as you reach the left knee out and away from your ribs. Keep the left toes very active and release out of this pose. Come to a lunge now. With your right foot forward, walk your right foot just to the outer edge of the mat and push the baby toe side of the foot very firmly down. As you take your hands to the inside of the mat and push the foot down, you get this nice opening. Maybe you can even use your blocks if you wish to come a little bit lower and give your back thigh a stretch. So as you draw the right knee forward and stretch the back leg, maybe you can come down to your forearms as you push into the baby toe side of the foot and the big toe is lifted. You try to work the right foot into a vertical position. Now release yourself out of this pose very slowly. Well, there's no other way actually than slowly. And come back to all fours position so that you can trade sides. You can take your left foot to the outside of the mat, and as you press the outside of the foot down, the knee goes wide. Take your hands to the inside. Maybe you can go a little bit deeper and give your back thigh a stretch. Maybe take your forearms down either to the mat or to the blocks as you press into that outside edge of the foot, almost like you're just trying to cut through the mat with the foot. You get this nice opening in the inner groin muscles and the hip flexors. Just allow nice ease here in your breath as you pause on this side. Now make your way out of the pose. Let's make our way all the way to standing position. In the standing position, if you have blocks, you may want to use them. As you place your blocks in front of you in their tallest position, take your right ankle just to the outside of the left knee. Bend your knee, take your hands to the blocks, and here you have the front leg form of pigeon pose. Now take your pelvis back a little bit more. So there's a little bit more weight on your heel. Drop your pelvis down a little bit more. Just see if you can hold the pose. Keep this lifted leg very active. One way to keep it active is to press your left hand into the heel as you press back through the right heel. Just see if you can pause in the pose. If you'd like to add now a hamstring stretch to the standing leg, then slowly straighten your left leg. You can draw your heart slightly down. Just enjoy the stretch that you feel, the fullness of the stretch that you feel in the hip area, in the back of the left leg. Slowly come out of the pose and rise up. Let's go to downward facing dog so you can explore like how that feels slightly different one side compared to the other. As you come to downward facing dog, you might want to just pedal your legs, noticing the difference. One side might feel a little bit more spacious than the opposite. Now come to a place of stillness. Keep a nice evenness in the flow of your breath. And as you're ready, you can make your way back to a standing position. With your blocks in front of you, place your left knee to the outside of your right knee. Just bend your knee. If balance is an issue, you can always come close to a wall and just use the wall for your support. As you place your hands to the tall blocks, place more weight on your right heel. Draw your pelvis back. Keep your left leg very active as you come to just a nice ease in the pose. If things are really tight, though, you may want to drop your foot down a little bit. You'll still get a nice benefit from that. Just kind of crisscrossing in front of the shin might be a little bit better for one side or the other. As you draw your heart maybe a little bit closer to the lifted shin, you can slowly now come toward a straight standing right leg. And as you do, Rather than just rounding the spine, see if you can keep the spine a little bit more elongated before drawing down slightly. The breath is flowing nicely. And if not, maybe you've gone a little bit too deep in your pose. Slowly bend your knee to step your left foot down. You can bend one knee and the opposite, just to see if you feel a little bit more balanced. Come back to a place of stillness. Come to lie on your back. Bend your right knee, draw it in toward your heart. Place your right ankle just to the outer left knee. Stack your hands and just reach your right thigh just at the pant leg crease. Reach your right thigh away from you. Keep your right foot very active. See if you can create a little bit of space between the low back and your mat. You can bring your left thigh closer to you. Interlace your fingers right in the belly of the hamstring. But for many of us, we lose that lumbar curve when we do that. So, taking a strap, you can place your strap right behind the thigh to reach your right knee just a little bit further away from your ribs and keep that nice curve, your choice. Have a nice in-breath and out-breath, keeping a nice curve. Release your strap, release your right foot. Take your left foot just to the outside of your right foot. Draw your right thigh in. Take your hands to the belly of the hamstrings there. Or again, if you feel like you've completely lost the curve, you can grab a strap, reach your left knee away from your left ribs. Keep your left toes very active. It's almost like you're trying to reach through with the right foot, as if trying to push the right foot forward. And notice how that just refines your lumbar curve so nicely. And as you're ready, you can release your feet down. Extend your legs out. And just pause for a few moments here. Enjoy a nice ease to the in-breath and the out-breath. A nice softness to your facial muscles. You breathe in through the nose and out long through the nose. Enjoy Shavasana. Namaste.